In 2014, the Islamic State swept across Iraq and Syria, capturing a continuous stretch of territory roughly the size of Britain. They fielded an army of up to 80,000 militants, openly massed conventional forces on main roads, and administered municipal services for 11 million people. To fund this massive operation, they built a self-sustaining economy. By seizing state infrastructure, they generated up to $2 billion a year. They controlled refineries and oil fields, extracting up to 50,000 barrels a day to power a sprawling military and administrative machine. 5 years later, that physical empire was reduced to rubble. Following a grueling international military campaign, the group lost 98% of its territory. By 2019, its major cities were liberated, tens of thousands of its fighters were killed, and global leaders declared the organization defeated. Yet, by late 2024 and into 2025, the Islamic State remained the deadliest terrorist organization on Earth. Despite holding virtually no territory in the Middle East, the group's global network directed or inspired a surging wave of lethal attacks spanning from Russia and Iran to Europe and Africa. This contradiction exposes a flaw in how the international community viewed the threat. Coalition forces fought a war to destroy a physical nation, measuring success by square miles captured and cities reclaimed. But the true engine of the Islamic State was a highly adaptable, deeply entrenched bureaucracy. Losing their land did not kill the organization. It stripped away the costly burden of governing millions of people and forced the group to mutate. They transitioned from a visible territorial government into a decentralized, untargetable shadow state. When the physical territory collapsed, the group lost its primary tax base and its oil fields. To survive, the financial architects of the organization pivoted away from a traditional state model and began operating like a transnational organized crime syndicate. They replaced oil revenue with deeply entrenched criminal enterprises. Operatives began extorting local businesses, skimming money off international reconstruction contracts, and managing smuggling networks. They also tapped into hundreds of millions of dollars in cash reserves they had smuggled out and hidden during the Caliphate's collapse. This animated data visualization compares the page count and content focus of the group's English-language magazines over time. You can see their early publication, Dabiq, featured high page counts focused heavily on ideological state building and utopian life in the Caliphate. As territory was lost, it was replaced by Rumiyah, a much shorter, grim publication, almost entirely focused on tactical instructions for lone wolf attacks. Looking at how this media network has fragmented by 2025, the output shifts from central print publications to dozens of decentralized digital nodes. Today, affiliates use artificial intelligence to generate virtual news avatars, computer-generated anchors, and translate propaganda into dozens of languages. This allows them to broadcast globally without a single physical media center. This flowchart maps out the internal structure of their Ministry of Media, showing a strict bureaucratic division of labor. Visual material showcasing military operations is routed strictly through the Al-Furqan department, while ceremonial and religious activities are managed entirely by the Al-Ittisam department. Shedding the physical state drastically lowered their operating costs. Without the need to pay municipal workers, repair infrastructure, or run public services, the organization evolved from a bloated government into a lean, highly profitable digital syndicate. As the central leadership in Syria was systematically hunted down and weakened, a hidden bureaucratic hub known as the General Directorate of Provinces, or GDP, quietly absorbed command of the organization. This map plots the hub and spoke structure of the GDP, revealing a global franchise model. The core command connects outward to regional offices, known as maktabs. For instance, Maktab al-Sadiq manages operations across South Asia, while Maktab al-Furqan oversees the Sahel and West Africa. Zooming in on these network nodes reveals the mundane, highly corporate reality of these terror franchises. According to internal ledgers, the leadership operates on standardized salary tiers, with regional imams receiving a strict documented payment of exactly $300 a month. To collect those salaries and receive operational funding, these regional branches must adhere to strict bureaucratic reporting requirements. Provincial commanders are obligated to file detailed monthly reports summarizing their military activities back to the Central Directorate. This rigid administrative framework creates a highly resilient system. A drone strike might eliminate a high-ranking commander, but the corporate structure immediately processes the loss and promotes the next $300 a month manager to take their place. Across the Middle East and Africa, Western military forces are currently scaling back long-standing counter-terrorism missions and withdrawing from regional bases. This rapid reduction in international pressure is leaving massive security vacuums in its wake. The GDP franchise model is actively exploiting these vulnerable areas. In the Sahel region of Africa, spanning Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, the local Islamic State affiliate has expanded its territorial control, multiplying its fighting force by 4 to 6 times over the last 7 years. These regional franchises outlast better-equipped state armies by recycling low-tech, disruptive tactics originally perfected in Iraq. They weaponize cheap commercial quadcopter drones, like the one being tracked here, and deploy modified civilian vehicles to break conventional defensive lines. Traditional military strategies struggle to counter this model. Dropping bombs on cities or destroying physical infrastructure does little damage to a threat that now exists entirely as a decentralized financial and bureaucratic web. Capturing territory from an organization built to survive without land is not a final victory. Until the global community dismantles the corporate ledgers and stabilizes the political vacuums where these groups thrive, this phantom state will continue to govern from the shadows.